Some documents from Joe Biden's days as vice president have been found, so here's your handy primer on a story that you know will be blown wildly out of proportion by every conservative everywhere. Oh man, you just know that Ron Klain and the rest of the Biden White House are facepalming at this very moment because this story is being given the breaking news treatment, even though it's really not, and we'll dive into it. And you also know that every conservative in your family, in your social circle, and certainly on social media are going to be making quite a bit of news about this, right? So this is going to be all over Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Michael Knowles, just all the usual suspects are going to be making, Tommy Lauren, they're all going to be making all kinds of hay about this, especially given the scandal of last year and the FBI search warrant on Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago property, as well as the fact that that whole scenario has landed him under investigation from a Department of Justice special prosecutor, as well as January 6th, Jack Smith. Now, the temptation is going to be to buy into the conservative or right-leaning centrist talk, which is coming, if it's not there already, that, wow, Trump had classified documents illegally at his residence, and now Joe Biden has had classified documents found at one of his residences. These two are basically the same. They're not. And the reporting on both of these events will explain very well. So let's dig into it. President Biden's special counsel confirmed Monday that classified documents from his time as vice president under Barack Obama were discovered in a private office space and turned over to the National Archives in November. I want to repeat that. They were discovered and turned over to the National Archives in November. The documents were found while Biden's personal attorneys were packing files housed in a locked closet at the Penn Biden Center, which Biden periodically used from 2017 until he started his campaign. According to special counsel Richard Sauber, the White House is cooperating with the National Archives and Department of Justice. So two facts there that need to be repeated. The documents were found not by FBI agents, not by a third party, but by Biden's own attorneys, his personal attorneys. And they were turned over to the National Archives proactively, and the White House is cooperating with the National Archives and Department of Justice. All right? On the day of this discovery, November 2nd, 2022, November 2nd being my late mother's birthday, by the way, the White House counsel's office notified the National Archives. The archives took possession of the materials the following morning. So again, on November 2nd, the documents were discovered by Biden's personal attorneys, not law enforcement, not a third party, not anybody who was going to extort or blackmail him. His own people found them. They realized what they were, and they proactively turned them over the very next day after informing the National Archives. So already we're just very above board, very proactive, very legally rigorous. The discovery of these documents was made by the president's attorneys, Sauber said in a statement. The documents were not, this is another thing, not the subject of any previous request or inquiry by the archives. So it's not like Biden sat on these things, he hoarded them, and the National Archives and the Department of Justice had to go looking for them, right? Nor were they the subject of a separate investigation. So it's not like he was compelled or pressured into turning them over because of an extant or ongoing request, right? They proactively turned these documents over. That is a major, major, major distinction compared to Donald Trump and his people. Since that discovery, the president's personal attorneys have cooperated with the archives in the Department of Justice in a process to ensure that any Obama/Biden administration records are appropriately in the possession of the archives. Because again, as a reminder, the documents of government officials, particularly presidents, are not theirs, right? So like notes that they scribble, meeting minutes, things like that, those are not the property of Joe Biden or Barack Obama or Donald Trump or George W. Bush. They are public records. They belong to the National Archives because they're seen as historically significant documents of a civil servant, of the chief civil servant of this country. So it's illegal for people to take those documents or to destroy them because, again, they are public property. They belong to the government, not to any former president. Now, very often those documents are then either loaned back or copies of them are loaned back for presidential libraries and archives, right? But they still do not belong and never belong to a former president. They belong to us, to we the people, through the National Archives. And then, of course, it digs into the Trump thing, and we're going to dive into that separately. But here's what Republican James Comer, who is now the head of the House Oversight Committee, here's what he had to say. And you can almost hear the smugness. President Biden has stated that taking classified documents from the White House is irresponsible. House Committee on Oversight and Accountability Chair James Comer said in a statement, under the Biden administration, the Department of Justice and National Archives have made compliance with the Presidential Records Act a top priority. We expect the same treatment for President Biden, who has apparently inappropriately maintained classified documents in an insecure setting for several years. Now, again, you can hear the smugness. And to be fair, it was irresponsible, right? It was wrong. Again, you can imagine with Trump or Biden or any president how a mistake like this could be made. But the difference is, how do you handle it once the mistake has been determined, right? So I don't have a problem with someone saying that technically by having classified documents in a private residence, President Biden acted irresponsibly. Yeah, sure. I don't have a problem conceding that. But there are orders of magnitude separating Biden and Trump, even on this very issue. And Reuters kind of dives into it. So one of the first major distinctions, other than the fact that Biden proactively turned these things over and has proactively cooperated with the National Archives and the Department of Justice, unlike Trump, is that, according to reports, nearly 10 documents, classified documents, were found, right, at Biden's office. Now, even one, is bad. It's not good. You contrast that, the 10 documents found in Biden's possession, to Trump. About 100 documents marked as classified were among the thousands of records seized back in August by the FBI. And that was after the FBI had been there already to take classified documents from Mar-a-Lago. And so like the Mar-a-Lago and Donald Trump, they turned over documents to the National Archives piecemeal once under National Archives subpoena back in, I think, May of 2021 or 2022. No, I think it was 2021. We'll check that out. And then again, when the FBI went there to collect more documents, and then the third time, which was the August 8th search warrant raid. So in one of those, just one of those, was 10 times the number of classified documents seized from Trump's property compared to Biden's, right? Colossal order of disparity. But CBS also put together a timeline for the Trump situation. So again, in May, the National Archives, May 2021, requests that Trump turn over missing records and continues to ask for the documents until late December. So from May till December 2021, the archives are aware that Trump has records that belong to them, to we the people, and ask for them for 7 months. January 18th, 2022, 15 boxes of records, some containing classified material, are retrieved from Mar-a-Lago by archives representatives. And again, it goes into detailed, which is extraneous for our purposes, but, paper records which had been torn up, yada, yada, yada. So then there are additional documents that are requested, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check here. Okay, so yeah, they suspect that additional documents are at Mar-a-Lago, and so they issue a subpoena, a grand jury subpoena, seeking any and all documents bearing classification markings that are in Trump's possession at Mar-a-Lago, and sets a May 24th, 2022 deadline. Okay, let's see. Requests FBI agents retrieve the documents that are responsive to the May 11th subpoena from Mar-a-Lago. So 3 FBI agents in June traveled to Mar-a-Lago to retrieve the materials in response to the subpoena. So that's the second time that documents were taken from Mar-a-Lago. The first time National Archives came in January to get documents. Then in June, they had to send the FBI to get more documents. And then, of course, in August, that's when 100 classified documents were seized as part of the FBI search. So these are radically different scenarios, and maybe further developments will bring these two events closer together. But as of right now, based on the reporting of what we know about Trump's situation and Biden's situation, they are orders of magnitude apart. President Biden was proactively engaging with the relevant authorities. He turned over the documents without being compelled to by any sort of investigation or external party. And all evidence is that he's cooperated. And to the sheer number of documents, 10 times less, 10 times fewer documents involved. So anyone who is going to suggest that these two men and that these two situations are comparable, they're lying to you. They're being fundamentally dishonest. And you can cite this video as proof of the many, many, many critical differences separating the two. But we'll see how the story develops. Hey, you! Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, and I hope that you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. And if you absolutely hated the video, the best revenge for you is also to hit the like and subscribe buttons below. That'll teach me. If you want to share an opinion or share some feedback, go ahead and leave a comment, all right? 2023 is a year of change, hence the aggressive rebrand and commitment to new content. Inspired by my friends Luke Beasley and STV Philly, my personal goal for this channel is to hit 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So I'm hoping you'll do me a solid by spreading the word and the videos to potential fans and hate watchers alike. And in the meantime, we'll be pondering politics again with you very soon.